Hello, and once again, welcome back to Elden Ring. We are going to be continuing where we left off from. We still are one rune short, still pissing me off a little bit, not gonna lie. But we're going to start out with going after the Tibia Mariner. And this boss always just confuses me as to honestly why it's here. But as you can see, we'll make pretty quick work of them. And he does try to call his goons over, but we're able to take them out beforehand, and you can see them just drop. And we get some more death root. And from this point, what we're going to do is we're going to head back over to the Aguil Lake South, and we're going to head towards Weeping Peninsula and start taking out some of those bosses. We're going to hit this Spirit Spring just because it's there, why not? And we're going to begin making our way across the Bridge of Sacrifice, or the Bridge of Doom. This bridge used to always give me trouble, but I realize if you just go on the horse, you can bypass every single thing. And off camera, I did get that level. While we are headed there, we're going to run into this character, Irina. We'll probably not do her quest line, just honestly for the sake of I don't normally do it whenever I play. But we talk to them just because they're here, why not?
Deliver it to my please, he can be stubborn.
And then from there on the right hand side I see a troll, and we're going to try and take that out. And at this point I am pretty satisfied with the damage that the katana is doing, but we take a couple toes to the face, even more dogs than necessary, and that gets us our 6th death. I can never say 6th. We made our way back after we respawned, and now we're going to finally take these out. I decided to take out the dogs first since they gave us a little more issue. And he eludes me a little bit, but he does eventually go down. And now we can focus on the troll. Like I was saying, I am pretty satisfied with the amount of damage that the katana is doing, but I am hoping to get it upgraded sooner rather than later, which means that we're going to have to eventually go up against Margit and try to beat him in order to get to the round table hold, because if you remember in a previous episode we were able to upgrade this to the max that we can with the anvil at the Church of Ella. And as far as those dung beetles go, I probably will use only a handful, probably less actually than a handful of the skills that I get from them, but if I see them and I can get it, then why not? To start off with Weeping Peninsula, I want to go towards the catacombs that are in the top right hand corner of the area. And it's at this point that I'll remind, I'm going through a lot of these based off of just memory. Limgrave and Weeping Peninsula are probably the areas of the map that I know the best. It's the tutorial area, it's the first area that you run in, so I don't feel like that's too impressive. But because of that, I don't have to look too hard in order to remember where all the respective enemies or the respective bosses are. But if I don't remember where a particular fight is, then I do, like I said, have that spreadsheet that I can refer to. And we made our way to the catacombs, specifically the Impaler's catacombs. And I know that we probably don't have to rest at every site of grace, but it's a habit that I picked up from having to rest at all the bonfires in Dark Souls 1, and there's no point in breaking it at this point. And this is going to be another instance of just trying to get through the catacomb as quickly as possible. My feelings still have not changed regarding catacombs in this particular game. In my opinion, it is still one of the weaker parts of this game. The imps in particular don't help.
Surprise, motherfucker!
And now that we made it through the boss wall, I realize that this particular fight, which is just a repeat of the previous Erdtree Watchdog fight, except now we have 4 imps that we have to deal with. I'm not too proud of my performance in this one. I attribute most of it to the presence of the imps just throwing me off completely. You can see there's a lot of instances where I start panic rolling, just trying to get any sort of offense. But now that we've killed all 4 of the imps, this boss fight essentially just becomes a matter of memory learned my lesson from the first time, trying not to jump over. And at this point, we're only halfway through the boss fight, and I have no flasks and a dream. So at this point, I have locked in. And admittedly, I never felt like this is a boss where you needed to lock in, but because of my, like I said, my lackluster performance, I had no other choice. And I still make some mistakes. And thankfully we are able to make, I wouldn't even say make quick work, that took longer than I'd like to admit, but that definitely was a victory. Now that we've returned to the beginning, we are able to get another level, and I decide to put that level, considering all that we've encountered so far, I decide to initially think about putting it into strength, but what I figure is best, I recheck my stats, I rest again, and I put it into health. From this point, I start heading towards the castle, only to grab the map. And for that noise, if you know, you know, you know exactly what happens. I have, for whatever reason, the worst trouble getting this golden seed. But after getting the golden seed, we head back, we rest, only to upgrade the golden seed, get us an extra charge. And now we're going to ride this spirit spring. We're going to head up onto this tower, and we're going to get a upgrade. We get the turtle shell. We can't wield it just yet. We are one strength point away from being able to wield it, but this shield is going to be the shield that we use for the next little while once we're able to wield it. We're going to hop back down here, and like I said, I'm kind of just free-handing this. We're going to make our way into the canyon that is near this area. Making great work to avoid as much as we can. We are going to get a Jehovah's Witness preaching in our ear. And we are going to run past the farting clouds. Clouds? Flowers. The farting flowers. We're going to make a quick detour just to hop up onto this little ledge here. And we're going to get two things. One of them is very useful, the other we won't ever use. We get our next sacred tier. And I'm very surprised that I got caught by the spirit spring in that descent, otherwise I would 100% be dead. And now we made it to the tunnel. And we're going to put that sacred tear to use. We've now got a +2 flask. And this is just going to be your standard tunnel that we're going to make it through. This one has mostly demi-humans, or maybe it's the misbegotten. It's the misbegottens. But it's also got the miners, no diddy in here, along with some extra smithing stones. Take out any enemies that we can along the way, just to get some extra runes. And we try to make quick work of any enemies that we can here, just because. And like I said, I like to keep the tunnels, the dungeons, and the boss fights uncut, just so you all can see all of the mistakes that I make. If you prefer that, or if you don't, just let me know. And we get a very essential item. We get cotton. We will definitely be putting that to use. And now we have made it to the boss, But of course, after making a detour on the right hand side, we get our first somber smithing stone that's going to be useful for the Bloodhound Fang. And we are going up against the Scaly Misbegotten. I'm assuming that this is a precursor to the enemy of this same variant in the castle at the bottom of Weeping Peninsula. But after getting that bleed proc, he's gone. He's done. Finito. And we get the Rusted Anchor. Again, probably never a weapon that I'm going to be using in this playthrough, but we'll see. And after that, we are going to be returning to entrance. We find ourselves back at the top of the elevator. And from there, I decide to go back to this particular grace, and we are going to make our way towards the church at the top left of the Weeping Peninsula area. But not before we put one more point into strength. And since we've now raised up to 14 strength, we can now wield Turtle Power. And thankfully we're still rolling pretty decently. We have a medium roll. We're going to go across the bridge. We have to get past the guard. And after a bit of a trek, we take care of the traveling postman, and for some reason their cow, and we have made it to the Church of Pilgrimage. We put that sacred tier to use. We're now already at a +3. And I've come here to the Tombsward Ruins because I thought that there was a boss fight here. And imagine my disappointment when I realized that I've just come across two crossbow users who admittedly put up a bit more of a fight than I was prepared for. But still was not able to really do anything detrimental. We do have a chest. Now, what is in this chest? Some bullshit. But now we have made it to the 4th Church of America. We get another sacred tier. That puts us at, once we activate it, a +4 flask. And as far as the sacred tears and the golden seeds, to my knowledge, that is the last of them for both Limgrave and for Weeping Peninsula. I consider bringing down the walking condominium, but I feel like it's not appropriate yet because we don't even have a reason to go inside of it. So I make my way up to this minor Erd tree to go up against the Avatar. not to toot my own horn or stroke my own ego, but I am impressed with how long it took in this boss fight for me to get hit. I was able to make it through half of his health bar before I was hit. And now I can't stop. And with the big jumping slash, we are able to take him down. Now, normally I cut to make it to the next area, but if you just go back the way that you came and do a quick left, I do struggle a bit to find it. Even though I look directly at the door, I still somehow don't see it, but I eventually do find it. We have made it to the Tombsward Catacombs. And with this level, we are going to put it into health. That brings our health up to 23. And as you may or may not be surprised, that roll there was because I thought this was a different catacombs. If you played this game, you probably know which catacombs that I am thinking of, and we will, of course, get to it at a later time. We have another instance of the flamethrower. This one, I do miss, or it doesn't miss me. And we take out Jack here, and just to make sure that he doesn't get back up, we finish him off. Pause. And I try to jump up, but I fail, and then I get shot in the face. But going up here, I don't have to look very hard. I still think that this is the catacombs, and I'm still wrong. I don't have to look very hard for the lever, and I go ahead and pull it crunk. And I just make my way back to where I came from, or so help me. And we go into the boss arena. And this is not my best performance, but to be fair, this boss, I still don't have a technique for this boss. take out the shadow relatively easily. With 3 flasks left, we make our way back to the entrance. And just to see where we are with leveling up, we are quite a bit shy. After that, I decide to go back to the 4th church. And you may initially think that I'm going towards that Everjail. But clearly I don't know where I'm going. But once I realize what direction it is that I need to go, I do quickly find the entrance to yet another cave. This time it is going to be the Tombsward Cave. So we just came out of the catacombs, now we have the cave. And going down here, I realize which cave that we're in, and I do not care for this cave. I don't care for any area that doesn't force you, but kind of also forces you to get a status effect before going into a boss fight. And you're going to see, I checked my inventory because I thought I had something for poison, but no. I just have Alex's meat and something to help with bleeding. And I take out the little desk plant before we go into the next boss fight. And if you know which cave this is, then you know what we're about to encounter. It's a flower. We very quickly make light work of Miranda. We get the Viridian Amber Medallion, which is something that we are definitely going to be using. We run back into the cave just to use the Sight of Grace to get rid of that status effect. And we have another level. And of course, I decided to put it into health, bringing us up to 24 health. Or rather, the level 24. After that cave, of course, I know that we're nearing the end of the time that I set aside for myself to record. So I decide to go after all 2 of the Knight's cavalries that are in the beginning areas of the game. The first one we go after is going to be on this bridge next to the lake. And in my opinion, this one is substantially easier than the second one that we will encounter. very lucky that I was able to get that heal off, because if I did not, I was going to be dead. We are able to take out the horse, and thankfully, before he gets up, I'm able to get the critical off on him. And at this point, I just start swinging as wildly as I can, trying to avoid most of his attacks, but ultimately he goes down. And we do get his repeating thrust skill. I head back over to Castlemorn Rampart. It is already night, which is useful for us because there is another Knight's Cavalry. And like I said, in my opinion, this one is substantially more difficult, simply because of his weapon. Right here you can see that I am terrified. I get another very lucky heal off. And this one, for whatever reason, I just was not able to get the angle right before he was able to get up. So we weren't able to get the critical. But we do start attacking him as much as we can. And we do get a bleed proc in order to just about finish him off before he does go down. And we get the barricade shield skill, which we have automatically with the turtle shell. We get his flail, and we get another level, which I decide to put into Dex. And to finish off the video, I decided to go to the Church of Ella and confront the big bad booty daddy that is at the beginning of the area, the Golden Tree Sentinel. Very easily able to get a blood proc here, and for some reason I kept going around him counterclockwise, and he just kept turning to the right, and he was not able to attack. This has never happened to me before, and I'm very lucky to have caught it on camera. I thought maybe that would finish it here, but no, he does a couple more turns and then he is done. And as a reward, we get his halberd. And we are shy of another level, but that is going to do it for this video. after I use all 3 of these runes, we push ourselves over 6100. That does give us the level, and I put that into strength, bringing us up to 15 strength. And to plan for the next video, what I decided to do is I decided to climb the Storm Hill hill and position myself at the Grace just before Margit, because that is going to be our next step. We're going to attempt to fight Margit. If we don't succeed, we will still be able to access the round table hold after a few attempts, but if we do succeed, that just puts us closer to our goal of every boss for this area and ultimately the game. And I want to know, if anybody out there is watching, let me know, do you also ride Torrent in as far as you can to do a little jump just to get a little distance between you and whoever may be chasing you? Let me know. But that is going to be it for this video. And like I said, in the next episode, we will be trying to take down Margit. And I hope to see anybody and everybody there. I do appreciate anybody for watching, and looking forward to the next video.